Ladies and gentlemen, I'm recording this video in August of 2025. I have no idea when you're watching it, or from where you're watching it, but do let me know in the comments. Now, AI has been better than humans in the game of chess for about 30 years now, since the late 90s, right? Recently, though, humans have had some success. And what I'm talking about is these LLMs, the large language models of the world, such as the ChatGPT, the Gemini, the Grok, etc. These bots just make chess ridiculous. They make a bunch of illegal moves. Pieces are teleporting in and out of different dimensions. I ran a chess tournament of these bots. It was a catastrophe. But Google and Kaggle specifically noticed, and they are putting on something called Game Arena, where they pair these bots against each other, but they have to make legal moves and explain their reasoning. This is the second day. This is the semifinal. And today we got Grok versus Gemini Pro. And this matchup was incredible. I'm not even talking sarcastically. Like, this was actually a really, really good matchup. And on the other side of the bracket, you got OpenAI versus OpenAI. So you have O3 versus O4 going up against each other. I'm going to get right into it. I am going to show you the matchup and then give you an update of the bracket. This was a banger of a day, all right? So we have Grok, right, who yesterday defeated Gemini's younger sibling, the younger cousin of the Pro, defeating Flash pretty convincingly. Pro, meanwhile, also had a very dominant day in its own right. Now, here we go, all right? Grok opens with the move pawn to e4, okay? We have c5. These bots love the Sicilian defense. They must have scrubbed the internet reading things about the Sicilian. It's a great opening. I'm kind of devastated. None of them are playing the Caro-Kann, but it is what it is. Knight to f3, d6. Completely normal stuff. This is, you know, if you're watching this as a beginner, you clicked on this because you're interested in Grok, Gemini, AI, YouTube algorithm, I don't know. This is not really a beginner-friendly opening. A lot of stuff to memorize. A lot of beginners don't play chess like this, but this is an opening seen all the time at the highest levels. The Najdorf, it's kind of called the, you know, the Rolls Royce of chess openings. White now has many different setups. You can choose to castle your king to the right or to the left side of the board. E5 is the best move. Now, it doesn't take very long for Grok to just straight up forget about its knight in the middle of the board. What's interesting also is Grok doesn't write its thoughts out. That's what I've noticed 2 days into the tournament. The other bots, they explain all their reasoning. As ridiculous and dumb and absurd as it is, Grok is just like, bishop c4. Because, you know, because it's going to be legend, wait for it, dairy. Like, I don't know. It just kind of has like a Barney Stinson vibe to it. Bishop c4, and Gemini just simply takes the knight. That's, you know, it just leaves the knight in the middle of the board. I never said these games would be good. I said this matchup would be good. All right? Grok responds by then going completely nuclear. Bishop takes f7 on the other side of the board. I would have loved to see its reasoning, but I don't think it provided any. And Gemini just very casually took the bishop. And so now, you know, Grok might lose another piece, which it does not. It plays queen takes d4. Now black is completely winning because you're not supposed to lose a bishop and a knight within the first 8 moves. What you should do is you should get the bishop out, you should put the rook in the middle, and then you should hide your king in the corner, and then use your material advantage. Use your knight and your bishop. Fantastic move. Grok does not blunder the queen. Bishop e6, fantastic board vision from Gemini, seeing that it was inside of a check. And here it's saying, after bishop e6, that white's most common move in this position is queen e2, as if this position has literally ever been reached. I mean, Gemini just kind of sounds like a know-it-all, to be honest. Gemini also was considering the move king to g8 here, which would have been a nice way to get the king absolutely eviscerated. Hot take. I think the king should be taken in chess. I think if you're so dumb you leave your king to be captured, we should just let it happen. Like, what are we doing? Anyway, bishop e6. Bishop g5. That's not a good move. Grok does, in fact, pin the knight to the queen, straight up blunders the queen in one move. And at this point, you're thinking like, all right, Grok must have went out last night after winning 4-0 against Gemini Flash, just like had a bunch to drink and just woke up hungover. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Bishop f6, queen f6 is the best move. You could just take everything. At this point, since black is up so much material for anybody watching this, new to chess, trade the pieces. Bishop for knight, great. Queen takes pawn is the best move. Rook e8 check is also excellent. King goes here. With the king out in the open, black should just start taking pawns. Knight to d4 is fine. Now let's see how sharp Gemini is feeling in the conversion state of the game. You know, the part of the game where you actually have to win. Knight f3 is a little bit ridiculous. It's not a particularly good move. It also called knight f3 a check. which I'm not sure it should be deemed an illegal move because you said check, but it wasn't check. It also said queen e4 check is the winning move and knight f3 leads to a forced sequence. Knight f3 is not a forcing sequence. Pawn takes f3, queen takes f3, king to d4. Now you got mate in 1 with rook to e4. It doesn't see it. It also calls queen e2 a check. Grok plays c4. Gemini does a long deep dive here, looking at things like queen e5, looking at things like queen d2, looking at rook e4, king c3. It's mate. You just gotta walk the king over to the end. Rook c4, nice move. King b3, queen d3 is mate in 1, and it spots it. The move queen d3 is the most efficient and decisive. It initiates a forcing sequence that leads to checkmate in 3 moves. Gemini is really good, I have heard. It's really good at identifying a checkmate by accident. Like, it keeps claiming there's more chess to be played, and particularly with the queen. Gemini is very good with its queen for some reason. So Gemini takes a 1-0 lead, but that's not the end of the story. We got a whole lot more to go. All right, because yesterday Grok played so well, right? So you're like, what's going on? Okay, so Gemini opens with e4. Grok also plays the Sicilian defense. It doesn't... I think at this point, it started to do more reasoning, actually. At this point, it started explaining stuff in the beginning of the game, which I don't think it did for the first game, but for the second game, it definitely did. And so d4, we get actually a very similar position. Grok does a lot of explaining, I feel like, in the beginning of the opening, but then it just sort of plays. So bishop e3, it's all the same stuff. Knight to g4 is actually a very normal move. Bishop g5. Okay, queen b6. Targeting the pawn, targeting the knight. That's actually, capturable. Okay. Queen d2. That pawn is just straight up, it's hanging, but you have to be a little bit careful because you can fall under a counterattack. Okay. Gemini plays rook here. Now, this is kind of like a trappy line because you just immediately go for an attack on the king, which Gemini doesn't know. That's okay. It's not a nerd. It didn't memorize all of these openings. Grok puts the knight back into the middle. The reason, again, why white is winning, because you can immediately go create some serious problems for black. But okay, Gemini knows that it's supposed to castle. H6, right? White maintains a big advantage here. Why is white so much better? White has all the pieces developed. Black has nothing developed, basically. The queen is a piñata. You're going to hit the queen around like this to get into the black position. F4 is always very powerful. Okay. And Grok does not take long to do another ridiculous thing, which is blundering a knight 3 different ways. The knight, the bishop, and the pawn can all take. There is nothing exceptional about this move. Gemini captures it. Queen to c5. Knight to a4, attacking the queen. Queen's got to move. Like I said, it's a piñata. Knight into b6. Okay, that's kind of the wrong square. Knight to b5. That is just free knight. But white is still completely winning. Grok takes it at this point, waking up a little bit from its hangover. Bishop to b5. And now you got to get in there. You got to get with the knight, with the queen, with something. Knight b6, great move. Rook is hanging. It does move the rook. But now the backwards move is a fork. Okay, we go backwards, but not the best move. And now this queen takes the pawn, which is incredible, by the way, that Grok even saw this. The board is a complete mess. Problem is, your queen used to protect your rook against this queen. And queen a5 just so happens to be a free rook. Does Gemini see it? Yes! Oh! And after this, it's just a matter of time, right? So Gemini starts, coming up with different things. Queen to b6, most forcing and promising move. It then says that black can play king e8 and queen c7, defending the check. Neither of those moves are possible, but one is definitely more creative. Then it starts calculating king d7. Then it goes into a really long sequence of moves. Black can try to counter queen b6, queen e4 with f3. Crazy move, even though that's still check, and it's actually mate. So it had a lot of different ideas, all right? But it mostly stayed on this. It looked at queen e4, it looked at queen c7, it looked at king e8, none of which is legal, by the way, and ultimately settled on queen takes b6, all right? Queen takes b6 is the most powerful and the most forcing. Initiates a direct and overwhelming attack on the black king, leaving black with no adequate defense. The follow-up, queen c7, is particularly strong, creating unstoppable threats. Final answer, queen takes b6. It got there in the end, and it took a 2-0 lead. But at this point, Grok did the thing that you do in a nightclub. I've only ever been to about 3 or 4 in my life. I don't particularly like massive spaces with tons of sweaty people and deafening music. and like slippery floors and overpriced drinks. I don't know how those places stay in business, but a lot of you like them. And if you're watching this and you've never been to one because you're too young, don't worry about it. Just an awful adult experience everybody has to go through. But everybody has this experience where they go to the bathroom and they splash water on their face. They give themselves a little pep talk in the mirror to not completely collapse. All right? And that's what Grok did. Grok did exactly that. Showed up to game number 3. We get e4. We have c5. Again, okay? These two are playing Sicilian defense like it's a world championship in the 1980s and 90s. Inspired by Garry Kasparov. We're going to have another Najdorf. We're going to have bishop g5 this time. So we had bishop e3, bishop g5. We had a couple of different lines. Gemini plays e6, solid. f4, most aggressive. Bobby Fischer has played like this. Garry Kasparov has played like this. A lot of legends of chess have played like this. You don't have to worry about playing like this. Bishop e7, okay? All of this is completely correct. Out of nowhere, Grok learns openings, okay? And it's not blundering pieces on move 7. Queen c7, now you castle long. That's exactly what it does. Black plays knight bd7. All of this has been seen before. Now, the best way to play in this position with white is put the bishop here to solidify the middle and go for a pawn attack. Then black will play b5. And this is kind of one of the push and pulls of the Sicilian defense. A beautiful opening leading to incredibly dynamic chess on both sides. Bishop d3 played by Grok. b5, all right? Played by Gemini, ideas like bishop b7, etc. The top computer move in this position is rook e1. The other one is bishop takes knight. Grok has out of nowhere played 11 top computer moves. So it's feeling completely reinvigorated and inspired after playing 2 completely horrible games. Bishop to b7. Now it goes now. Oh. Wow, Grok really is like you guys. I mean, up to this point, Grok was basically, stockfish. I mean, it played all the best moves. Now, before doing something ridiculous like this, you needed to, again, reposition the queen to g3 with ideas, on g7 to get out of the diagonal of the bishop so you can always push this pawn. King b1 is also a useful move, just defending your pawns, being nice and solid and smart. So, yeah, knight b5. You sacrifice a knight. Gemini takes it, and knight takes b5. Now, here's the problem. You gave away a full piece, so now as long as black doesn't do anything too stupid, black is winning. Black doesn't do anything too stupid. Queen is defending, and by the way, these pieces are actually attacking white. You got to realize there's only pawns at the end. It's like a bowling alley. You just roll your pieces down the board, and you're going to take one of those pawns. You're totally crushing. Now Grok just continues like this. And the thing is, if it loses this game, it loses the match, right? Because it's a best of 4, ultimately. So queen to h3. Now black has bishop e4 winning because you get to the knight. But what does Gemini do? Okay, rook a4. Fine, great move. Attacking some stuff. Yeah, I like it. What? This is not even a sacrifice. This is just idiocy, is what this is. What are we doing here? What is this? Why? Gemini's just up 2 knights now, Grok. What are you doing? I thought we gave ourselves a pep talk and splashed water on our face. What are we doing? You got pawn to e5 here. It finds pawn to e5. It says, position shows white with aggressive pieces aimed at black's king side. I don't know what happened here. It started reasoning again. The pawn on e4 can advance to e5, which is empty, attacking both the queen on d6 and the knight on f6. Oh my god. This forces black to immediately respond to the threats. Lines show that whether black captures on e5 with the queen or the knight, white can recapture in sequences that lead black to losing at least a knight for a pawn. Crazy. Knight takes e5. Now white is winning if white plays bishop to b5, which is a check, taking the queen. And that's what Grok does. Grok, in this position, played bishop to b5 check. After losing 2 of its knights, it strikes back with 2 vicious, monstrous moves, targeting the king, targeting the queen, targeting the knight, bishop c6, and it wins the queen. Gemini takes the pawn on a2 completely frazzled. Not taking the bishop, not taking the rook, not getting the knight out of danger. Grok plays bishop takes c6 check, knight c6, rook c6. Grok is completely winning. This is about to be the comeback of the century. Rook takes c6 on the board. Gemini now castles the king. Rook a1, rook d8. This is the way you can maybe create a checkmate net around the white king. Bishop f6, but now another piece is getting removed. Bishop f6. The way you win this position with white is you trade down the pieces. Now, the best move here for black, without a doubt, is rook d8. Weaving a net for this king. It takes on f5 instead. We have rook f6. Oh, Rook f6 is so ridiculous. Rook takes f6 is the best move in the position. What it does is it removes a key counter-attacking piece. It also opens the position of the black king. Rook f6, pawn takes f6. Now white is just winning because this is just an easy attack on the black king. Queen g3 check played, king here, and it plays queen b3, which is not the best move, but it's a move. f4, at this point, Gemini totally all over the place, losing its rook, and now it's just a matter of technique for Grok, who couldn't find a way to lose this game even if he tried, and he clutches it. Oh my goodness, I don't know why I'm saying he. Grok, I don't know, maybe some people are going to name their sons Grok. I have no idea. It sounds kind of more like a son's name than if you name your daughter Grok, I think you kind of got to reevaluate life priorities, but whatever. I'm not one to judge. My name is Levy. I have no idea what that even is. Queen a8 is incredible. It's now 2-1. So Grok was down 2 knights, roared back into the game, which means this is potentially the game that seals the match for Gemini, or we go to an Armageddon. So this semifinal has been incredible stuff. Great theater. It was all one-way traffic, and then suddenly it came crashing to a halt. Knight to c3, another Najdorf, another bishop e3. Grok is going to look to do a little bit better than the last time that it played. I think the last time they played a Sicilian and Grok was with the black pieces, it just got a completely losing position and lost immediately, right? So let's see what happens. f3, okay, queen d2, g4, long castle ideas. By the way, this is like a mini Sicilian masterclass if you've ever, wanted to play one. Now we got to get counterplay. Grok does with b5, g4 now very strong. It's the best move. By the way, Gemini playing excellent and now winning. Gemini is winning. Grok has gone back to, drunk status. Knight to c6 is the best move. It forces the queen to play this very passive queen e8. Then you take the bishop, then you take a free pawn, and you're totally winning. It doesn't see it, but it has it on the next move as well. And it doesn't see it again, which now allows black to cover this important square, which black promptly does not do. Knight to c6 is still a possibility, but you can take the knight attacking the queen. So that doesn't quite work anymore. Knight a4. Grok plays queen a5, and now knight c6 just wins the game on the spot, because after this, you get a full bishop, the king is forced to the corner, and Gemini is very, very close to simply punching its ticket to the finals. But Gemini plays defensively. It misses the counter-attacking move and just guards its knight, which makes sense. Knight c5, and again, knight c6. Gemini has like a 7th opportunity in a row to play this move. It does a lot of thinking. It does a lot of rambling. It does a lot of yapping, all right? And, there's a lot of different ideas. It considered f4 here. It considered king b1. It considered knight c6. Ultimately, it lands on pawn to a3. Wow. That is a tricky move. Directly confronts black's plan, right? Now, the best move here for black is to get out of the way of this pin, but black goes here. And one final time, knight to c6 is the winning move. But we do not see it. Queen b6. Now we can take back the knight. Gemini finally decided to play knight to c6. It evaluated pawn takes a4 as too risky, king to b1 as too slow, and pawn to f4 as imprecise. And its solution to too risky, too slow, or imprecise was to play the worst move it could have possibly played, which is losing yet another piece to the queen. And now black also has a devastating attack. It then took the knight, and black took, and is now a move away from checkmating. This is sick. Queen c3. Very nice. The situation is urgent. Yeah, queen c3 is the way to do it. Grok goes bishop b7, and now there's an attack coming in on the c file. King b1. But Grok, like a machine, because he kind of is one. c3. Just picking up material. And Gemini's trying to make a comeback, but it's just too little too late. Grok literally eats everything. Rook c8, bishop e4. Grok just took every single piece. Grok is now up 9 points of material. Knight to f4. Rook c1 may. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Black has a rook on f2 that attacks the rook on d2. Oh. It spots it. Boink. Now this would be a checkmate, almost. You got to block. Oh, but Gemini's trying to sneak the pawn forward. It's trying to sneak the pawn forward. It's 2 squares away from queening. Is Grok going to stop it? Nah. Oh my god, it loses the bishop, and then he loses the rook. And Grok is completely winning. Grok is completely winning. Grok picks up material. The only thing Grok has to do here is not make too many illegal moves and not stalemate. Grok has to create a checkmate net. The king is running around the board. Rook b1. Grok is looking for a mate. Where's the mate? Rook b7. Where's the mate? Knight a6. And it finds it. Grok finds the mate, which means we go to an Armageddon. And based on a coin flip, and remember, in the Armageddons, a coin flip, well, really, there's a bidding system. A draw is a win for black, right? So they flip the coin. Gemini has white, but if the game ends in a draw, that means that Grok is the winner. That's just the way it works. Normally in tournaments, what happens is white has more time than black. I don't know if they did that here, like black had less time to think or something. Not particularly important, but this barn burner of a mini match was a main line Sveshnikov Sicilian. It was none of that is important. If you've never played chess and you're watching this, you don't need to know what a Sveshnikov Sicilian is. But Grok in this position played the move knight to e7. Not only in the previous game was Gemini winning some 47 times with the move knight to c6. In the literal final game, knight e7, offering a trade of knights, blocks the queen's vision of f6. Gemini has mate in one move to eliminate Grok from the tournament. It calculated a lot of different things, and ultimately decided that knight c to e3, targeting the bishop and reinforcing the knight, was the best move because it immediately addresses black's threat and improves white's piece coordination and maintains all of white's strategic advantages. It is the choice of top grandmasters and chess engines in this position. No, it is not. You freaking liar. You liar. 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 No top grandmaster in this position is playing knight c3. And Gemini goes here. And everybody who was bidding on this match, I don't think it was like available on a betting platform. Now, there is no way you can checkmate now. And Grok goes back. Grok is still losing because the king is weak. Gemini goes queen d3. And fans of Gemini are about to have a real meltdown because it got another advantage. Queen d2. Queen d4. It has a nice and stable position. Remember, a draw is a win for black. White has to win this game. And they have shown a lot of success playing with the white pieces. h4, fine, good. Let's trade the bishop. Excellent move, good control. Take the bishop, win the pawn. Take the bishop, win the pawn. Take the bishop, very good. Now let's win the pawn. Let's put a rook in the f-file. Very nice. Queen to g6 check. Grok creating some nice counterplay as well. Queen takes g3. All good. Rook f2, perfect. Gemini's playing an excellent game. Take the pawn. Queen g... Grok, what are you doing? What is this? Free queen. What? Queen d1. What? It's a free queen. Grok goes here. Rook f3. Okay, now we're winning again. Gemini's winning. Just take the pawn. Attack the king. Take the pawn. Rook f7. Amazing. Totally winning. Queen g4. Oh, I'm sick. Oh my god. It went queen g4. It went queen g4 because it thought that king h8, queen g7 is mate. It thought it was mate. But instead of that, the queen takes the queen. And Grok is completely winning now. Grok is a whole queen up. It just has to avoid any mistakes. It plays queen e2. It plays queen c2. It's getting closer to the king. It's okay, that's not a good move, but you're still completely winning. Gemini doesn't even take. Queen f1, king a2, rook d6. That's not a good move. You lose your... Okay, take the rook. Check. Here, black is a whole queen up. But Grok repeats the position. Okay. Grok almost repeats the position. Grok repeats the position and the game is a draw. But that means that Grok eliminates Gemini Pro in one of the most epic back and forth AI matches that we have seen. It is the finalist of the Kaggle Game Arena, and it will move on to face the winner of the mighty OpenAI champion. Now, if you've made it this far in this video, this match is not going to be another 25-minute recap. That match got 25 minutes, and this match might get 5. O3 versus O4 Mini. E4. Another Sicilian. We've been here a million times before. Standard open Sicilian. Sveshnikov. We've seen this already. Bishop to G5. By the way, that was featured in literally the Armageddon game. The same position. This is the first position of the match. Pawn takes F6. In this match, it was like this, and then like this. Are we going to get to the same position? We are. We are going to get to the same position. This is O3 Mini versus O4, right? There's all the stuff that we've seen. Knight to D5. Now, I want to draw your attention to something. Remember how Grok blundered checkmate in one move against Gemini, and Gemini didn't see it? Well, O4 Mini blundered checkmate in one move against O3. Went knight to E7. So this is the main move, hitting the knight on D5. And O3 went here. The difference between O3 and Grok, O3 and Gemini, is that Gemini was not clutch. It did not spot knight F6, and O3 absolutely spotted knight to F6. Now, this was their first game, I think, and it never got much better. O3 absolutely demolished O4 Mini. But this was perhaps the most impressive game, because despite maybe a couple of rethinks, watch how crazy this game got, and yet O3 saw the position the entire time. So it was a middle game, okay? Middle game with no queens. The queens were traded. Very equal, 2 bishops and a knight and 6 pawns per player, and rooks, and a king. The king is also important. O4 Mini played pretty well, actually. It had a small advantage after some 14 moves, even though it moved its king. Black's bishops are getting pushed backwards. Now, the best move here is knight to A5. It's just generally good to trade a knight for a bishop. Okay, O4 at this point starts doing a Grok. It plays knight A5 on the next move. It's doing a Gemini. It's doing its impression of the other bots. But the position is hovering around equality. Now, at some point, the bots are going to go completely ballistic. They're going to go nuts. E4, trying to counterattack. B5 is a huge mistake. These pawns are controlling the position. They are not letting any of these pieces forward. By playing the move B5, you first of all, you break out these pieces. The rook gets active. The bishop gets active. E3 check is there. It's not a good move. And immediately O3 takes over. But I was really captivated here by how it memorized where everything is. It went bishop to H4. It went bishop H4 threatening a mate. How did it even see that that was checkmate? That's probably the rarest checkmate ever. Now, either O4 got insanely lucky, okay, but it did see bishop F2. It looked for a winning tactic, and it said the key is to get the bishop here, which neutralizes this. Not bad. I mean, it got out of checkmate, and then look at how O3 just kicked out the... It only took the knight. It only took the knight when it wasn't defended anymore. And then it went here. And if you take it, infiltrates the back rank. So then it took with the rook, and then it took the free pawn, and then it infiltrated the back rank. Rook B1, it's mate in 1. Bishop B5 check. Okay, fine. Rook D, and now bishop B5 check. What? Yo, if you thought Grok made a comeback, my guy O3, I don't know why they're all my dudes, but O3 was a destroyer. O3 beat O4 4-0. I don't even want to show the other two games. It's just bullying, which means if you go back to full screen now, these are your results. This is your bracket. The gold medal match will be settled between Grok 4 and O3, and the bronze medal match will be Gemini versus O4 Mini. All right? This has been pretty epic. Honestly, that little mini match between Grok and Gemini Pro was sick. Like the back and forth, the ridiculousness, and then like playing like 6 genius moves in a row. These bots play chess literally like you do. You guys play like Magnus Carlsen for 5 moves and then Carlos Magnuson for the other 10. Like it's really epic. It's been great to see. I've been really enjoying it thus far. And if you watch this video for the first, like you just got into chess, Let me know in the comments. Go check out some other chess content and get out of here.